God damn it. Fucking joke. Bullshit, man. I'm gonna sit here and talk about this fucking... I'm sure all you are feeling just about similar to how I am right now. What an absolute pile of shit losing that series is. No joke. The better team lost that series. I've never seen a team get that much puck luck on both sides of the ice than the Philadelphia Flyers did in that series. And they were the favorite heading in. Okay. Oh, turned out that the favorite got upset in that series, if we want to talk real. Unbelievable. The Philadelphia Flyers defeat the Montreal Canadiens in Game 6 to win the series 4-2, and they beat the Habs in that final game there 3-2, in which they got dominated for the third time. 3 games, the Flyers looked outclassed and leave with a record of 2-1 as solid. Yeah, very frustrating to say the least as a Habs fan. However, first and foremost, got to get this out of the way. Congratulations to the Flyers, to Flyers fans. Good series, good game. Enjoy your playoff run. Hope it lasts super long. I'm sure it will. No, but seriously, good game, good series. It was entertaining. Glad we got to take part in that. You guys have a pretty good team. And the Habs should be proud of what they accomplished. Habs fans should be absolutely thrilled what their team was able to do. No one gave this team a chance whatsoever once this playoff format was announced. Everybody doubted this team because they didn't want to actually look at what we had, look at what we could be. They just wanted to look in the past and, oh, this team finished such and such in the standings, and that means that this equals that this is how they will suck going into the playoffs. Bullshit. Step up your game. Stop sleeping on the Habs. It's bogus. Bogus. This team is way better than what people are giving it credit for, and I'm glad that they put on a display of that in these playoffs. You know, if you follow me and you watch this channel, you know I had them pegged the entire way, and I don't mean to toot my own horn. All I'm trying to say is people got to stop sleeping on this team and actually do their fucking jobs and analyze them properly. I understand that our regular season results haven't been the greatest the last couple years, so you have to take your opportunities to shit on the Habs when you can, but it should not be a surprise that this team is closer to contending than what people thought. It was fucking obvious if people actually did their jobs and analyzed this team properly. Anyway, getting a little off track here. This video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to shoot from the hip here. I got some notes, a few stats, but not as much as usual. I'm just frustrated. I cannot believe we lose that series when we outplay the Flyers for the majority of the whole thing. Yes, I'm salty. Big time salty. Call me a homer if you want. I really don't care. The better team lost that series. Granted, Carter Hart was great. Yes, he was, but he was also very inconsistent, and it goes along with the rest of what they did that entire playoff series. The Flyers did nothing convincing at all in that series whatsoever. Granted, yeah, they played a great defensive system in Game 4. They executed their trap very well, and we all, including Flyers fans, got to witness the most boring game since 1996 when the Devils were in their prime, putting people to sleep every night. And they were good in Game 3, but that was a game where the Habs hit 5 posts and lost 1-0 on a goal that just a floater from the point that bounced off of Voracek a couple times and sailed in slow motion over Carey Price. Unreal. End of the day, though, the Habs cannot go scoreless in 2 games in a playoff series and expect to win. Plain and simple. So the onus is on them that they didn't actually put anything up on the board in those 2 games. That's what lost them the series, despite them outplaying the Flyers the majority of the series. Let's just start from the beginning. Game 1. Okay, close game, could have went either way. I personally thought the Habs were the better team in that game, but the Flyers win. Sometimes that happens in hockey. Game 2, Montreal fucking dominates, wins 5-0. Unbelievable performance by the Habs. Dominated them in every facet of the game. Game 3, that's when we get all the posts. That's when they trap us out, get a lead early, and do nothing for the rest of the game for the most part. Game 4, Philly played great. The only game where they actually looked like the better team the entire series. Game 5, Habs dominate and win. Game 6, it was pretty close. It wasn't a domination from the Habs last night, but it was clear that they were pushing the pace. They were controlling the possession. They were the owners of that game last night and somehow managed to lose. A big reason why the Flyers won this series, and it's easy to point to the goalie, but it's true. Carter Hart played fantastic, and he has a bright future ahead of him. Incredible. He really is the heir to Carey Price. As he gets older, he will get better. He will become a light version of Carey Price. I have a hard time seeing him matching what Carey Price has done in his career and what he'll continue to do in his career. But Carter Hart is going to be the closest thing to Carey Price. Now, that said, my issue with the Flyers in this series, my main issue that that grinds me that they get to continue on in this playoffs is that they did nothing convincingly that whole series. Nothing. They did nothing convincingly. Meanwhile, the Habs penalty kill was incredible. The Habs 5-on-5 play was by far better than the Flyers. Our goaltending was better than the Flyers. Our defensive play was on par. Maybe the Flyers edge us in that one. But that's what gets me the most. They did nothing convincingly, whereas the Habs shined. And yes, I am salty. You know that. And I should be, because y'all know it's true. You know it's true. And it's so rare for the better team to lose in a 7-game series. That's why you play 7-game series in hockey. That's why it's the best playoff format out there. But this is definitely one of the clear examples, one of those rare examples that the better team did lose. We outshot the Flyers by 29 shots through the entire series. We outscored them 13-10. 6 of those Flyers goals were off Habs players, okay? Not all of them were flukes, but at least 3 of those 6 were complete fucking fluke goals. And the fact that they got the majority of their game winners were just flubs. And Flyers fans and the Flyers can say all they want, that they executed a game plan very well. And yeah, because I'm sure their game plan was to barely hang on every game and score float or fluke goals from the point and somehow squeak out a series. I am sure that was their game plan. Unbelievable. Now, all that said, Montreal Canadiens, the players themselves, the team should be proud of what they accomplished. They came into this bubble and into this playoff return to play on a mission. And they're the ones who executed their game plan very, very well. So they should be proud of what they accomplished despite the first round exit. They should recognize what they're capable of and use that momentum and bring it forward into next season. They should absolutely not be satisfied or pleased that they went out. They need to be, they're at a point now in their team growth that they need to expect playoffs every single year, nothing less. It doesn't matter if you are injured. It does not matter whatsoever. Playoffs are the expectation now for this team every year, and they have to get there because enough. Truth be told, we did not deserve to be involved in this return to play, but we took this opportunity and utilized it. But enough is enough of this missing out, just missing out, or missing out because of injuries. Enough. The Habs need to be ready to compete and make the playoffs every year from here on out. We have Weber and Price still in their prime, still playing elite level hockey. It's time for Bergevin to not be so strongly looking into the future and drafting and making transactions solely based or strongly based on the future. It's time to build for the present with Price and Weber at their elite status, with these 2 centers that are going to become elite over the years, while we still have Deneau, one of the best offensive centers in the league, who made Couturier look like a bit of a chump in that series. I don't know how he's getting nominated for Selkies over Deneau. Maybe the points, but it's a defensive award. Come on. I don't know what these fucking media people are doing. It's just like the Norris. It's a joke. And Habs fans should be thrilled about the future of this team. I've been saying it for years as we've been building, as what Bergevin has been doing over the years. He is putting together a very strong team. You don't have to be all young. You don't have to be all old in the same pocket of window in your prime. What Bergevin is building and what the Habs are building is the perfect way to construct a long-lasting culture with your pillars in Weber and Price. Then you have your guys in the mid-20s that are just entering their primes, the Deneaus, the Armias, the Drouins, the Domis, Lehkonen, all those guys. And then you have the massive young core of prospects. Some have already graduated. Kotkaniemi, Suzuki, Mete. The list goes on and on. Evans looks stellar in the games he finally got a chance to play in. He looked really good. So, and then our goaltending with Price, and then you got Primo ready to take over down the line in a few years. It's looking fantastic for the Habs. Now is the time that they need to start pushing for playoffs and long playoff runs, because once they get in, we know now that they are capable of playing playoff hockey. All in all, it is a real shame the Habs could not get a Game 7 out of this series. They definitely deserved one. It's a real shame it couldn't get that far. I was confident in their ability moving forward. It's really unfortunate that couldn't happen. And it just seemed like everything was against us in that series, and our team continued to fight, and couldn't quite overcome all that adversity. The officiating with Chris Lee being an absolute fucking joke as he continues to be against the Habs on a regular basis. The NHL definitely needs to look into his track record, because it's unreal when we're going into games expecting them to be officiated bad. And I know teams and fans kind of fall into that trap very often, but it is blatantly obvious every time he referees our games. It is blatantly terrible officiating against the Habs. Blatantly. Something has to be done about him. Big time, because that is not how you run a league in a fair manner. You're not entering a game on a fair playing field when he is officiating. It's a joke. I'm sure we're not the only team that suffers that fate when he's in there. He's either a terrible ref or he has bias. One of the two. It's not neither. Plus, we lose our coach midway through the Flyer series with a significant health event. That would have been a lot to overcome. They responded well to Claude Julien's exit, so really proud of how they responded in that game following his health event, and they beat up on the Flyers 5-0. So they responded well there, but like I said, there was just too much adversity. Everything seemed to be against them, and they couldn't quite overcome it. Now I gotta take a second to talk about the emergence of Nick Suzuki and Jesperi Kotkaniemi. Unreal return to play both of these players had. They both came into camp ready to go and performed extremely well. You can see that both of them have bright futures in the NHL as top 6 centers. That's great to say as a Montreal Canadiens fan. We've been waiting for this depth at center for a long time. We finally have it, and they are only going to get better and better year over year. The two of them are at least 3 to 4 years away from their prime hockey years, but those years before then are going to be great too. But these guys are going to be special NHL players. Suzuki led the Montreal Canadiens in points with 7 points in 10 games, tied with Drouin, who also had a good return to play. A little bit of inconsistency here and there, but towards the end of that Flyer series and at the end of the Penn series, he really picked up his game. So he finishes with 7 points in 10 games as well. And Kotkaniemi tied with Suzuki for most goals in the return to play with 4. Great to see that. Weber with 5 points in 10 games. So he was after Drouin and Suzuki. Armia with 5 points in 10 as well, tied with Weber. And Carey Price, what a performance. Unreal how dialed in he was. He was by far the best goalie in the return to play in all of the NHL, in every facet of the game. He just dominated in every area that you possibly can in terms of a goaltender. Finishes with a 1.78 goals against average, .936 save percentage. He still has it. He is going nowhere. He's a Montreal Canadian for life. We're proud to have him, and we're proud of his performance. Unreal performance from him. It's unfortunate that with those statistics, he leaves the bubble with a 5-5 record. Sherratt and Weber were a stellar shutdown pair. We have Sherratt locked up for another 2 years after this season, and of course we have Weber basically until he retires, so that D pair is going to be scary anytime they get into the playoffs. It was a real fun to watch those guys in the defensive zone, just having their way physically with anyone who got into the slot or into the corners. The big hits we saw from both players, it was real pleasure to watch those guys in this return to play. Also have to point out how well Kulak played. That pairing in general, Jeff Petrie and Kulak, was fantastic. Very mobile, physical as well, but their puck moving was on point, and Kulak was just very responsible with the puck and confident with the puck. Very, very confident with the puck. Great to see him emerge. It'll be interesting to see what his career holds in the future, but because he played some of the best hockey of his career in that return to play. Very impressive. Now, moving forward, first and foremost, I don't think we can use this series against the Philadelphia Flyers as a measuring stick. To be quite honest, they weren't that impressive of an opponent. I started to believe into the hype that they had coming into our series, and they were a hot team coming into our series, going 3-0 in the round robin play, and then winning I think 9 out of their 10 last games before the season paused back in March. So they were extremely hot, but at the end of the day, I really don't think they were that impressive of an opponent. So I don't think we can use them as a measuring stick that much. So I don't think we should be jumping the gun and saying, oh, the Habs are close to contending because we kept up and outplayed the Philadelphia Flyers. I think the reality of it is both the Flyers and the Habs are middle of the pack teams right now, and both of those teams will be middle of the pack teams next year fighting for a playoff spot. I think one team, the Habs, clearly have the better future and have the clearer path to contendership status than the Philadelphia Flyers. Maybe that's a homer bias opinion, but I also think it's true. So I don't think we can use that series as a measuring stick. I think we can be happy with the performance and know that we are capable of keeping up with anyone in the league. In general, just because we've proven that throughout the last couple seasons, how we play against top competition, how we knocked out the Pittsburgh Penguins in that 3-5 series very convincingly. But Montreal does need some significant improvements if they want to take that next step. Our scoring needs to be bumped up quite a bit. We need to be able to finish plays. We definitely need more scoring on the wing. I think our left wing situation is set, especially if we end up extending Thomas Tatar, which I think we should. But it's the right wing that needs work. We need an upgrade there, whether it's by trade or free agent signing. It wouldn't hurt either to have an upgrade on the left wing, but for the most part, we need a sniper on that right wing for the Habs. We also need an improvement on our left side defense. I think we all know that. Kulak was great, and Sherratt's been great, but they're basically the same type of role player. They're both like a number 3 or number 4 defenseman. This team needs a bona fide, top pairing, mobile, left-handed defenseman. We have Weber locked up on the right. Petrie's coming up for an extension. I hope the Habs can extend him. It'd be very wise of them to, but we need a left-handed top pair D that can move the puck and put points up on the board. I'm not so sure that's going to be Kulak, so I don't know if he can be used as a trade piece. He would definitely have value after the playoffs that he just played. We also have an incredible amount of draft picks that can be used in trades. I think 12 or 13 heading into this 2020 draft. And we have tons of cap space with the only contracts that need to be done this summer as Domi, Lehkonen, I believe, and Mete. So nothing really significant in terms of money going out. And then we also have money coming off the books soon in Alzner and Weiss. So Habs cap situation is fine. We should be able to fit all these guys somehow, especially with Bergevin and his cap management. We should be able to fit what we need. As long as they're available and as long as the transactions can be pulled off, we should be able to put a much better team together for next season. Anyway, guys, that's about it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for notifications. I'm probably going to do a State of the Union video at some point, just breaking down the entire Habs franchise, cap structure, roster, prospects ahead of the draft. And then eventually after the draft, we'll get into the Habs top 10 or top 20 prospect list. So make sure you hit that subscribe button to get my content. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Scotian Canadian. I apologize for the saltiness, but I definitely think it's justified. The Habs played a great great series against the hottest team in the East. Somehow did not come out with the win. It's really unfortunate. I really think they were on a mission and could have accomplished something special in this playoffs, despite not being a contender as it stands right now. Because if we would have ended up facing, Tampa Bay or Colorado, if we made the final, we probably would have got destroyed, if I'm being honest. But I think we played very well against a team that we're evenly matched against in the Flyers. Anyway, guys, that's about it. It's been an absolute blast watching these playoffs and talking them with you guys. We're very fortunate to have been included in the return to play. And I think that'll be a strength for us moving forward. The adversity we faced, coming together, the leadership, and the team building that would have went on in the bubble. So I'm really fortunate that the team was able to actually participate in this in general. And it is what it is. There's always next year, and Habs fans should be absolutely pumped about what we have coming to us in the next few years, even as soon as next season. It is going to be a fun few years for the Habs. Talk to you guys soon. And you know it. Go Habs, go, baby! Woo!
Go Habs, go, baby!